So you just picked up a camera or you've been shooting for a little while, but your photos just still seem off or not that professional quality that you want. Chances are you're making at least one of these mistakes. Trust me, I did as well. And no, it's not just about your camera settings or using a tripod. There's a lot more to it, so let's dive in. Mistake number one is you think better gear equals better photos, which is not true. It could not be further from true, in my opinion. Yes, of course, using better gear is gonna, give you maybe a little bit better quality or a little bit more room for error. I'm not denying that, there's a reason good gear is expensive, obviously. When I started taking photos and I didn't think they were very good. So I added about $10,000 worth of gear to my cart and I was like, this is it. This is gonna fix it. My photos are gonna be great after that. I didn't check out because obviously I couldn't afford it, but it kind of got me thinking that it wasn't actually the gear that I had that was kind of making my photos bad or not what I wanted them to be. It was that I wasn't using them properly. Expensive gear isn't gonna fix bad lighting or poor composition or no storytelling in your photos. And once I kind of understood that, I took the gear I had, which was fine. It was, it wasn't the best quality gear, but it was definitely more than enough to take some good photos. And I took that gear and I really honed in on trying to focus on, getting better at composition, using my camera to its full potential, trying out the different settings, figuring out natural lighting versus artificial lighting and how to use both of those properly and, kind of how to master my camera for what it was. And that is the number one tip I would give to every beginner photographer. Take the gear you have and do the best you can and have fun with it. And then once you've kind of understood that, then you can go buy the expensive gear. Mistake number two is you're over editing or not actually editing at all. And yes, there is a certain community or certain type of photographer that likes to not edit. If that's your thing, you do you. But there's also something to be said about editing photos and kind of adjusting, if you will. I'm not someone who typically likes to really over edit and pump these crazy, over saturations and over contrasting into my photos. I like to adjust them to make them more natural, but you can only go so far with the camera, and sometimes just editing your photos lightly, kind of giving your own style to them will go a long way, and making them just that next level up of quality and kind of making them your own, giving yourself your own style that's consistent across your photos or that you like to do. You don't even have to edit on Photoshop or Lightroom, or you can just edit on your phone, or really if you want on the Instagram app. It's up to you, but just a little bit of tweaking of lighting and colors can really go a long way just to kind of give that photo the look that you're going for. Mistake number three kind of leads from that is, you're copying without understanding. So I've had some photographers reach out to me in my messages on Instagram and stuff and being like, I used Peter McKinnon's presets, but my photos don't look like his. Like, why is that the reason? It's because you're just throwing a preset on a photo and exporting it. That's not the best way to go about it, and that's not what's going to give you the quality that either Peter has or you're searching for. There's something to be said about using a preset. It's a great starting point, but apply a preset to your photo. Look what it does. Does it boost the contrast? Does it lower the shadows? Does it increase the exposure? And gives you a good starting point to get that style if you're using that preset because you want your photos to kind of look like that style. But go in after that and adjust and really understand if that photo's boosting contrast, but your photo is already really dark, then maybe it's not gonna look too good and you have to actually lower that contrast to give it the style you're looking for. So understanding what the presets and stuff like that are doing to your photos is gonna help you get that actual style you're looking for. Of a photographer that you might look up to, and then from there you can make your own presets or you can have your own editing style, but understand the changes they're making in your photos before you just throw them on and export. Big difference. Tip number four, I'll go over this one quickly because I've probably said it 1,000 times. Shoot in RAW, especially if you're going to edit your photos. I see so many people shooting in JPEG and then they try and edit their photos and they're just overexposed, they're blown out, and they don't understand the photographer next to them got the same photo on the same day and it looks so much better, probably because they're shooting in RAW and they have more leeway there. So definitely, if you don't know what that is, watch this video here, but definitely shoot in RAW. It helps a lot. The fifth mistake I see all the time is people thinking that only noobs or beginners can shoot in automatic, and if you do that, you're not a good photographer. I shoot in automatic all the time. Obviously if I'm going for a specific type of photo, or I have some time to adjust my settings, I'll shoot in manual, yes. But people think if you shoot in automatic, it's bad. The cameras these days have such good sensors, and honestly, shooting in automatic is not a bad thing. A good little tip, if you want to shoot manual but you have no idea where to start, take a couple photos in automatic and look at the settings that it used, and chances are the photo will be pretty good. And then you can switch to manual, copy those settings that were taken from the automatic photo, and then you have at least a starting point for your manual settings that you can adjust, the ISO or the shutter speed afterwards, but it gives you a good base. But my point here is, a lot of people, I've seen photographers just go and think they have to shoot in manual to be a good photographer, and then they go and take a bunch of photos and their settings were off because they didn't understand what they were doing or didn't adjust the right things, and then they come out with a bunch of bad photos and they're really upset. I'm telling you, shooting in automatic is not a bad thing. I encourage it. Just go have fun with it. So don't be afraid to shoot in automatic. So I think if you're a beginner and you make some of these changes, your photography will improve tenfold. I made every single one of these mistakes. That's how I know, I'm making this video, because I did all of these, and I wish, someone told me not to, but that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes. So hopefully if you see this and you can change one or two things from this video and your photos get better, that's my goal, is to just kind of help you guys out the way I wish someone was able to help me when I was a beginner. So definitely try some of these. Let me know. Drop a comment below if there's any questions you have, or DM me on Instagram. I always answer my comments on my DMs, so I'd love to hear from you guys and get your feedback or answer any questions you have. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram at thesneakylens. Hopefully I see you there. I have a ton of different styles of content on there, so check that out. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.